Hello, and welcome to Travel Stories Unpacked, where we talk about all things travel, from the silly to the serious and everywhere in between. I am your host, Ashley Newton, and thank you so much for spending some of your time with us. We really appreciate it. And this week, we are getting into a very juicy topic. We are going to unpack family vacations. Now, it sounds innocent enough, right? Is it a week long of memory making, or is it just being trapped in your trauma? Let's find out. So, our guest for this topic is Brigett Gerber, and I asked Brigett to come on the show because she does a lot of regular trips with her family. She travels a lot, and she just very recently did this. So, very top of mind, I think.
Yes, I do a lot of family travel with my personal family, with my extended family, and yes, my siblings. We've done some family trips, so
cannot wait to get into it. So I have sort of been wanting to talk about this for a while, but I want to take a second to set it up. When I'm talking about a family vacation, I'm talking about the family that, like my parents, my siblings, my grandparents. So I'm child free. I don't have any kids, so I'm not talking about a family that I've built. I'm talking about the family that I was given. So so I think that's important, a little bit of a different, dynamic at play there.
And I've had both of those.
Yeah.
Traveling with my family that I grew up with when I was younger, and then the existing family that I
grew
have
up
now.
with.
So
That's
yes,
a much nicer way of
right.
saying it. So for me, growing up, I was very fortunate to be able to travel. My grandma would take us all sorts of places, but it wasn't usually the full family unit. Usually my parents would have to stay back and work, or, my brother and sister were very involved in sports, so they would maybe have to miss a trip because of something like that, or they split summers. I think it's so long to think back now, but they would have to go see their dad or something, so they split their time. So very rarely do I have memories growing up of us all vacationing together, and the only one that I kind of remember is Disney.
Oh.
But I was really young, so I don't really remember.
How old were you?
Little? I don't know. I want to say 5-ish.
Okay, that's a good age for Disney.
Yeah, I remember the parade. I just don't really remember what anybody else was doing, or being worried about them at all. You know what I mean? As you get older, you're checking in on people. You're a little bit more of is everybody else having a good time? But I wasn't worried about that. I just wanted to hang out in Minnie's little house all day. So
Cute.
Most of my vacation memories, it wasn't really the full family. And when I did travel a lot, like I said, with my grandma or with my siblings, we would also go with my cousins. And that worked out really well for us. I think of them as the cousin buffer.
Yes.
Yeah, they would sort of chill us out a little bit. And we'd almost be more focused on them than how, it is when we're just at home together.
Right.
So you said you have siblings.
Yes, I have siblings. And we've always vacationed. For us, growing up, we took vacations every year.
Yeah.
So, and what we did was we would go to the beach. That was our vacation. And so really for the past 20 years, even after I left home, my dad continued these vacations at the beach house. So we've had vacations with 20 people in a beach house, with my siblings, with my step siblings, and so it's.
So what is your sibling situation? How many do you got?
Okay, so
what's their vibe?
I am the oldest.
Oh, okay. So, I'm the youngest.
I am the oldest, and I have a sister that is 4 years younger than I am, and then I have a brother that's 12 years younger than I am. So there's quite a gap there. Quite a gap there. So as we got, traveling together when we were younger was a lot different than traveling now, of course. We're very close. But let's face it, when you are with someone 24/7 for 10 days in the Philippines, for example, it can be a lot. It can be a lot. Yeah. But I guess the bottom line is their family, it's your siblings, and you can somewhat put some of those things to the side and still remember the great memories and have a great time with.
Oh, absolutely. But trying to explain sibling relationships to somebody that doesn't have them, I feel is so complicated, because it's no, we love each other, but it's violent. Or whatever your situation is, but or it's competitive, or it's whatever. Right. But I feel in the end, on vacation, you tend to devolve back into the same sibling dynamics. And like, I
Yes.
definitely experienced this when my family, literally the last time we all traveled together was we took a trip to Mexico. And
siblings, how many
yes.
do you have?
Oh, no, you're right. I didn't even say that. Thank you. I have one of each as well.
Okay.
I'm the youngest. So I have an older brother and an older sister, and they're they're only a year apart from each other.
Okay.
And they're about 4 and 5 years older than me.
Gotcha.
So we're all pretty close.
Right.
Which, for better or worse, I don't know. Yeah, so it's the three of us. And on this trip specifically, it was me, my brother, my sister, my mother, and my grandmother. And one of the first things I noticed is, like, we are not into the same stuff. Like, we all had very different ideas of, like, how we wanted to start our day, how we wanted to end our day. But because there was a larger group, that was sort of fine. But I felt like it was adding little tensions here or there. Like, oh, we want to go do this, and then we felt like we couldn't.
Right.
Or,
well,
you know.
I have to say it's the expectations of, like, my dad always has expectations of how he would like to see it.
So is he like the leader of your, like...
It's not that he's a leader. I have to say, like, our beach vacations are very relaxing. And I watched a podcast of yours where you said, you know, some people, you particularly don't like to just relax and lay on the beach, where a lot of us do like to do that.
Yeah, I keep hearing. I don't know.
That is what we like to do. So we're all on the same page. And after so many years, you've almost gotten used to what people like. And so my dad's gotten to the point where it's your vacation. Do whatever you want, whenever you want.
Yeah.
And it's okay. But I'm feeling that maybe with where there's some expectations.
Well, and
with your grandma and your...
I don't know if they're real expectations or if we're all just such chronic people pleasers that we put that pressure on ourselves, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I don't know if anybody's actually mad that my mom and I spent time swimming in the beach at Tulum when nobody else wanted to get in the water, even though it was the most amazing experience I've ever had. I mean, crystal amazing water. You're staring up at the ruins and they're just like walking around. So then my mom and I are like, well, better hurry up because we don't want to like just cause any drama. Now, would there have been drama or were we overthinking it? We'll never know.
Yeah.
But like little things like that built up. But then honestly, there was a moment where it all sort of blew up. And we were out to dinner. So we were at an all-inclusive in Mexico. When you guys do like beach dinners or do you ever like make sure to have like a family dinner on vacation?
Yeah, we have gotten into the habit of we don't really go out because our group is so big. So it's just easier to be inside and cook. So we've gotten it to where each family picks a night.
I love that.
And they cook whatever they want. And that way we're all together at that point.
I think that is the absolute best if you're doing like a beach house vacation, because then you're not worried about it every day and everybody has their fair share. So I love that. Yeah. But this night, we were like, we're going to do one of the specialty dinings. We're going to sit down at a nice restaurant and have like a formal-ish sit-down meal all together, right? So it's like the one nice thing we're all doing together. And I cannot even tell you how it started. Like most sibling quarrels or whatever, you don't really know what they're about or how they get there. But next thing I know, I'm just getting torn apart. Like, I don't remember.
They're picking on you?
Oh, my sister laid into me so much. I mean, she... literally, I think I was even apologizing and she was just like, you always do this. She's screaming at me in this nice restaurant. And by screaming, it was probably like hushed tones, but it felt like screaming, you know what I mean? And I was just like, okay, like I clearly did something wrong. I do not know how to get out of it. And like, of course, nobody else at the table is saying anything. It is dead silent as my sister is just like eviscerating me. I mean, there were no punches pulled, right? So then I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna leave. Like, I don't know what else to do. So I get up from dinner and I just leave and I just sort of excuse myself. And I think I just sort of waited for everybody to trickle out of the restaurant, which was incredibly awkward. So I'm just like, we cool now? Or like, are we still gonna like keep fighting? Like, I don't know what to do. And then the next morning comes and my sister and I are making up like we do. And then the conversation starts to shift onto how it was all my mom's fault in the beginning.
Oh, blame mom.
Again, that's the thing. I don't remember how it happened, but as it was happening and I was just going along with it, I remembered that's exactly what I always did. Like, whatever's going to get this moment to pass, like, we were just acting like 12-year-olds in the back of the car again.
Right.
And I was just like, we are grown. Like, I was in college, you know, so we were all like pretty adult during this trip. But it took maybe 3 days for us to just go right back to being like little kids fighting again. And the more people I've talked to, the more I find this isn't a very unique to my family experience.
No, it's beautiful when you can fight like that with your sibling.
Sure.
And then the next day say, hey, let's go shopping. Let's go grab something to eat.
Yeah, and I did. It flew over so quickly. And it's just one of those things that it didn't sully the whole vacation, but it definitely made me think twice on what would the next family vacation look like. Because I don't particularly enjoy being a punching bag, but I don't particularly know how to stop it either. And of course, you don't want to get into that on vacation. Like, hey, let's unpack all of our family trauma and figure out the roots of why we do this. Like, no, we're not doing that.
That's not why you were invited on the vacation.
Exactly.
It's not an intervention.
But, you know, I will say, you know, this was a while ago. We've all grown since then. But even almost more importantly, we've all coupled up. So like my sister is married, my brother is married. I'm in a long-term relationship, and they really, when people say like, oh, you found your better half, it always makes me cringe a little bit. But like we sort of did. Yeah.
Well, don't you find that they're kind of the balance when stuff like that happens with
Yes.
your family?
Yes.
They kind of reel you back in, and they're like, okay,
Yeah.
you need to calm down, or you know, your sister is acting a certain way. They're the ones that kind of balance it out for us.
At least for me, like I can say with certainty I am a better person for being in the relationship that I've been in, and my boyfriend really does challenge me to be just more self-aware. You know, like I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that was 100% my fault, but you can't see it until somebody is like, hey, no, you messed that up.
Right,
Like,
right.
You're kind of the problem here, you know.
Yeah.
And like also just feeling like, oh, well, I at least have this person on my side, so I can go and vent to them completely unhinged and then get back to dinner and just be fine.
So have you gone on a vacation with your significant others?
No, and I really want to, especially because both my sister and my brother now both have young kids of their own, one each, and I want to start building those memories with them. Like you were talking about, you have those memories of going with your whole family every year, and you know, I feel brave enough that I would try this again, and I would love to start some, you know, traditions with the whole family, and you know, be able to come on the podcast 5 years from now and talk about about how much we've changed and stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's so different because we've done it for so long. You know, my sister and I have children that are older, and so we started so long ago that my girls have been raised on the beach every year. This is what they like. Today, at 20 years old, they want to take off college and join us again this year. I mean, they come every year.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But it's interesting how different it is when they were little and what your vacation is like as a parent, as an adult.
Yeah.
And how it is now. And then I have step-siblings that are kind of starting their families, so they have all these young ones. So we've got these 20-year-olds and then the little ones.
Oh, the whole gamut.
And so the whole, so, you know, a variety of ages, and trying to kind of work the dynamics of all that is also
So how does that work when you're planning the bigger family vacations where it's like the whole like football team of kids and everything? Like, how do you guys even settle on a location?
Well, it's been this easy. My dad picks a house on the beach. It's south of Myrtle Beach. It's called Garden City Beach. Again, we have been going for 20-something years.
Gotcha.
But it's interesting also because we started off in a little house because it was just me and my sister that had kids, and I kept getting pregnant and it started growing. So we've gone through 4 different houses, and then we typically stay in the house. Right now we've been in this house a couple years.
And you've all fit in the house?
We each have our own room. I mean, it's been, again, this is something that my dad really wanted to do. He says, I'm not leaving you any money when I die. This is what I want to do. I want to be able to enjoy it. I want to be able to see, you know, my grandkids and my family have a good time together.
That's incredible. So are you guys all sort of spread out, or do you live pretty close to each other regularly?
We all live close. We all live in Ohio, with the exception of my brother. He lives in Atlanta, Georgia, so he flies in. And now that the kids are getting older, that's the thing. They're flying in, or they're driving by themselves, and staying for 4 days at a time. But it's kind of neat to see and look over all the pictures from the past and see how it's grown and but it's just something. And don't get me wrong, talking about things that happen, lots of drama during the week, always lots of drama, whether it be with the little kids or the older kids. It's just, my sister and I, we just, there's drama. And at the end, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to go home.
Well, how do you navigate drama if it's like, again, not being a parent, I am very conscious of like, I'm not going to do anything that could be close to being perceived as parenting your kids for you. Like that's a line for me. So like, how do you guys, handle those situations?
How do we navigate that? With my sister and I, we feel comfortable enough that I'm able to like discipline. Now, this is when they were younger. And again, they still need a little bit of disciplining in their early 20s, but at the most part,
discipline, and I'm in my 30s.
But it was okay for me to get involved and say, hey, don't throw sand at your cousin. Or
okay, so nobody's gonna get upset if you all sort of have the same approach to that's not okay, or we'll let that slide or whatever.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah, so it's but then again, it could have been bad, and I just blocked those memories out.
Oh my God. Yes, absolutely. Like a tagline for the show after the silly is serious and everywhere in between could be aside from what we block out. But hey, that's not, you want to remember the good stuff. Right. I'm all for that.
And that's exactly what happens after these vacations. It's the good memories and having that time with the family that's important. But, we also do family vacations with just the 5 of us. And that can get sticky because it's just the 5 of us. And I don't know, I'm a true believer that my girls are amazing when they're not living under the same roof. So when you're vacationing and you're under the same roof, it gets a little rough.
Okay, so your family of 5 would be you, your husband, and your 3 kids.
Girls.
So what is it like when it's just you and your little family unit as opposed to when you do the whole shebang with all the siblings and all their kids and everything?
It's really not that different. It's just the 5 of us. It's a little bit more I don't know. It's kind of the same, actually. Yeah. There's really no difference.
Do you go to the same place, or do you guys travel to different places?
We've done the same thing. We've done Disney trip. We've done Universal. We've gone out to Arizona. A lot of it is beach vacations. My girls like the beach, so
and everyone likes it though, because that's really nice.
Yeah, everyone likes it.
I don't think you could put us all in a room and we would all come up with one thing that we like between me, my siblings, and all of our significant others. Like, I'm thinking right now, my sister's husband hates the sand. So beach is out. You know what I mean? My brother's wife doesn't think anywhere in the U.S. is a real vacation. So that's kind of out. So it's like...
What will you guys do then?
I don't know. But their family does have like a timeshare in Florida. So she like loves everywhere and loves going places. I think to her, it's just if she's going to go through all the problem to plan a vacation, it's got to be somewhere that's going to feel worth it to her, which I mean, more power to you. Like, that sounds incredible, Yeah. But I don't think we could all be like, oh, we all have that in common. And like, I love to cruise. They would laugh me out the group chat if I suggested a group cruise.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. And like, no matter how much I was like, you might like it, or they have kids clubs. I just don't see it being like their vibe at all. My mom's coming around though.
Oh, okay.
She's coming around on the idea, and I'm just like, just make sure I'm there with you. So yeah, one of these days I'll get her on a cruise. But I do want to ask you, because I've met your sister. And she seems really nice, really chilled, really relaxed. Like, I really enjoyed, I mean, granted, we said like 4 words to each other on the beach, but like, I enjoyed our little conversation when we were...
You guys walked back together.
Yeah, so we were all doing an excursion on a work cruise, and then I wanted to stay on the beach a little longer because honestly, I was late getting out of bed, and everybody had already been there, so I wanted to get as much time in as I could. And Angela, right? Nailed it. So then Brigit's sister was also staying back, so it was nice just to have somebody to like casually wander back to and take the little tram ride with. But I had no problem at all, like, getting along with her.
She's easy to get along with.
But based on your and by the way, everybody says this about my sister as well. Like, these are good people. They're not bad people. But, like,
they're just our sisters.
Exactly. So you did make it sound like you get it, and maybe you've had moments with your own sister that were a bit tumultuous as well.
I don't want to say tumultuous. There's just some misunderstandings, is what I'd like to say.
Well, I want to learn from how you gracefully handled them, because
I don't know if I gracefully handled it, but I think I know the story that you'd like me to tell. After our 10-day trip to the Philippines, we were coming home, and this was after 10 days of us being together in the same room, in the same space, from hotel to hotel, and we're leaving the Seattle hotel, and we're in the shuttle, and I have this terrible cough going on. And mind you, she's sick, so she's coughing and she's not feeling well. So we're both like just dead tired from everything, and we're both just not in a good place.
I'm very irritable on the travel home days. I mean, all the fun's gone.
We were on the plane for a long time, get to Seattle. So anyways, we're on the shuttle going to the airport. All this happens in the shuttle. I'm mad. I walk off of the shuttle and I start walking.
Well, what happens in the shuttle?
Well, I'm having this coughing fit and everything is just falling all over. My phone's falling, my bags are falling. She's getting mad at me because she's thinking, what, are you choking? So I just had like a coughing fit.
She just wants you to shut up.
She does. She just wants me to shut up.
Meanwhile, are you coughing so hard like you can't see?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like when it's like your eyes are blurry, like you can't breathe. So you're fighting for your life.
She's
done.
Just done with me because she's sick. But really, I just probably swallowed my coffee wrong and was coughing away. So I get off the shuttle and I start walking, and she's getting all of her things, and my Apple Watch goes off, and I look down and it says, "You're going the wrong way." And at that point,
it just told you were going the wrong way? Did
yes,
you have like, I don't have an Apple Watch, so did you have like GPS in it?
Yes, so the texts come through to your Apple Watch and it says, "You're going the wrong way." And I immediately panicked, thinking not about going the wrong way, but I don't have my phone.
Oh!
So I turn around, Angela's not there, and the shuttle's not there.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm without a phone. And so I panic thinking, okay, I don't have a phone. What am I going to do? Well, luckily I had my ticket. And so I thought I'm just going to have to go through TSA. Went through TSA with my ticket without my phone. And I'm telling the TSA people, I'm like, listen, I don't have my phone. Can I go back? And they're like, you need to go through because I didn't want to miss the plane either. So I went through TSA and had to get onto a train to get to the gate. And I'm thinking, I'm just moving farther away from my phone. And I'm thinking, I don't know how. I'm thinking my sister will be there.
Now, are you the type that your phone is also like your wallet and it has every single thing you need? So did you have anything like a credit card, your ID?
Luckily, you know what? I did have, because I do have a passport wallet. So I did have all my stuff in that, which worked out. And again, I'm so lucky that I had an actual ticket printed.
Yeah.
Because usually you have your ticket in your phone.
Right.
And the phone was gone, so I had the ticket, was able to do that. So I'm thinking, I guess I'm just going to go to the gate, hope that my sister's there, and then just figure out what to do.
And at this leg in your trip, it's just you and your sister?
It's just my sister and I, yes. Yeah, my brother is...
Well, makes sense, because you said he lived in, like, Atlanta or something.
Yeah. So I saw a woman, an actual worker of the airport, standing by the train, and I asked her, I said, listen, I left my phone on on one of the hotel shuttles. I'm like, I'm not sure what I should do, but can I use your phone? She's like, yeah, why don't you use my phone and call your phone and see if anybody answers. So I called it. Sure enough, someone answers. And I said, I think I left my phone. He's like, yes. It was the shuttle. He's like, yes, you did leave your phone here. And I said, well, he's like, I could swing it back to you, but it's not going to be till I pick up some other people from the hotel.
And at this point, you're already through security.
I'm through security, and we're pressed on time. So I said, that's probably not going to work. And he said, okay, then I'll just leave it at the hotel desk and we'll ship it out to you. So I ended up going, I'm upset. I get on the train. As I start walking towards the gate, my sister's looking at me like...
arms crossed, disapproving.
Where have you been? And I'm almost in tears, just like, I left my phone on the shuttle. She's like, I called you 3 times. I was screaming your name that you're going the wrong way. And I just thought you were mad at me and ignoring me as I'm calling you.
So she's extra mad because she thought you were literally blowing her off.
She thought
you're
that I was
frantic
and
because...
And I'm thinking, couldn't you have, like, she said I called for you. I didn't hear her. I mean, literally, I turn around, the shuttle's gone, she's gone, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then knowing that my phone was... Oh, and to top it off, I had like 45 minutes to an hour where the plane was delayed, where I probably could have gone back and taken care of getting my phone.
Once you guys were both back at the gate and you're both upset, did you just stay upset or what happened?
I think at that point she felt bad for me. I think we were both feeling bad because of the way we behaved.
Yeah. And
then it was all okay. But that's how it is with my sister and I. Like, we can fight. My girls are the same way. They can fight, and then it's okay. But
well, and I do think that's so common for so much of like sibling relationships. It's just you grow up that way. You grow up. I mean, it's hard to just like get out of it and be like, oh, we'll just be calm professional adults all the time and use all of our reasoning skills. Like, no.
And it should be that way. I mean, as different as our relationships are with each other, they're still our siblings, and it's important.
So for your girls, because all 3 females, right? Okay, so we got 3 girls. Now, God, that sounds horrible.
Oh, wow, Ashley. Thanks.
I was just thinking about dealing with 3 little me's, like 3 little teenagers, 3 little 20, like, I could only imagine just screaming, fighting, stealing clothes. Are they like that, or are they nice to each other?
I was just telling someone about this, that, when they're under the same roof, they will fight. And it's typically about clothes and someone borrowing someone else's clothes.
Just normal stuff.
And then ruining something on the clothing that they bought, and you owe me money because you ruined it. But I can remember when all 3 of them were, and they were all screaming and yelling about clothes. And then an hour later, do you want to go grab something to eat?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You seem to just be so calm even talking about it, because I remember my mom, like, because we would, fight like kids do, like, just like you're talking about, and I would watch, like, the emotional distress that it put on her, like, when we weren't getting along, and maybe it took us a little longer to warm back up to each other, too, but, like, just how much it put her through, and, like, having to deal with that on top of your own stress while on vacation or something, but... It seems like you're just, like, calm about it. Like, you just acknowledge, like, it's going to be over, and I got to sort of let them do their thing while it's happening.
They handle it. I think I'm pretty fortunate that they are close. They get along. Daughter number 2 is actually studying in Italy right now.
Amazing.
And I walked in on my 3rd daughter, and she's on FaceTime with her. And they talk every day, and I get into the FaceTime. I'm like, "Hey, Lex, it's me. Remember?"
Oh, that's so sweet.
She doesn't call me.
Yeah, she
calls her sisters, and the sisters know more about what's going on in Italy than Chris and I do.
Well, I don't love that for you, but I think that's such a beautiful relationship there. Yeah. So like. To me, it doesn't sound fun, but it sounds like they're really figuring it out, and they have a really good relationship as siblings.
It's not always like that, but I think for the most part, we've taught them that sisters are first. Friends will come and go, boyfriends will come and go. Yeah, but you'll always have your sisters.
Aww. So I love that. Is there anything that you wanted to share just from your various experiences that to sort of cap it off?
No, I think that family vacations are very important, and you're going to have rough times, you're going to have stressors, and but you just gotta set the boundaries for yourself so you can have a good time.
Yeah.
And kind of put that stuff aside, and the things that you're going to remember are the fun things. I wouldn't say not to do a family vacation just because you're afraid of what could happen, but
yeah,
it's important. I think family vacations are important, and we'll continue to do them with our little family and with my extended family too.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that even if you have never gone on a family vacation, there's always a time to start.
Right.
And like we do in most of these shows, if you are overwhelmed with that, or if you know that there's some certain dynamics that play in your specific family, this is what a travel agent can really help you with.
Right.
Because it just takes some of that stress out, and then you sort of have a mediator who's going to view everyone's opinion objectively. Right.
And what would be interesting is to have a podcast with a travel agent that has some of those family type dynamic stories.
Oh,
I bet you they have a.
I know, like that would make us look so mild.
Right.
Like, oh, you guys got in a little scuffle. Like that must have been so hard for you. But yeah, no, and like we were talking about, like that. Those are never the shining moments. It's just when I do think about a family vacation, I know that there's gonna be challenges.
Right.
There's gonna be elements, and a lot of that too is like, for me, like, how am I going to
react
to
something that happens?
Right.
Because it's going to happen.
Yeah, and I have a hard time being like, go with the flow. So like that's something I know about me is like I get tripped up if things don't go according to plan, and then I can let that feeling sort of emanate and affect other people. So there's just a lot that goes
Another
into it.
idea is make them short trips. Doesn't have to be a week-long trip, especially if you're traveling or wanting to do a vacation with family for the first time. Could be short.
Yeah. Or maybe the first time since we've all started our own families, or everybody's got their kids now, or whatever. But I would absolutely love to travel with my family again. So if you're listening to this podcast, please don't take any of this too personally, and let's throw something in the group chat and get things going.
Sounds good.
All right, well, Brigett, thank you so much for coming on,
Thanks.
sharing your stories, and sharing in the reality of traveling with adult siblings.
Sure.
Yeah, because it's real. It's real out there. And thank you all for listening. As always, we really want to hear your stories and your experiences. So let us know what family vacation and family travel is like to you. Share maybe your triumphs or your woes, whatever you got with us, in the comments or anywhere on social media using the hashtag #TravelStoriesUnpacked. We will be back next Friday, so be sure to tune in for new guests, new stories, and new crazy travel opinions. This podcast is brought to you by KHM Travel Group, which is a leading host agency for independent travel agents. Go to khmtravel.com to learn more.